Hi everyone, I'm back with another edition of the American Chess Magazine puzzle calendar. Let's get into the puzzles. This is the puzzle for April 3rd. It was composed by Philip Peterson in the year 1940. Again, all the puzzles in this series are white to move, mate in 2. If you want to try to solve this puzzle for yourself, then go ahead and pause the video here. So for me, this puzzle had a difficulty rating of 3 out of 10, although that was a bit skewed, and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. So here in this position, the first thing I saw, my mind just immediately jumped to knight to e3 as an idea of checkmate, but the problem, of course, is that black can play rook takes. So then I thought, why not try some sort of interference, knight to c3? And this does happen to be the right answer, which is a little bit unfortunate because I didn't get to see all the possibilities the position had to offer. But the idea is that no matter what black does, they'll get mated. If bishop takes, then the rook is blocked, and white has knight to e3. If king takes, then queen d4 is mate. If rook takes, then rook to d4 is mate because the bishop is being blocked. And then so black can't take the knight. Black has to find a way to try guard this e3 square. If knight to f5, then the problem is that white has bishop to d3 checkmate because this bishop has been opened up. And if knight g to f5, then the problem is that here white has knight to e5 checkmate because the rook is protecting the knight. Other methods of defense for black include pawn to d4, which is guarding e3, but this fails to queen takes d4 mate. And other than that, black has no way to guard this e3 square, so no way. Well, black also has knight to f1, but that again fails to bishop. Knight f1 is actually a bit different. Knight e5 doesn't work because the rook can take, but instead what white has to do is play rook to d4 checkmate. So I'm pretty sure black actually has no other defenses against knight to c3. No matter what black plays, white will be able to give mate in 1. This was the puzzle for April 4th. It was composed by Peter Feenstra-Kuiper in the year 1920. Again, if you want to solve this puzzle for yourself, then go ahead and pause the video here. So for me, this puzzle had a difficulty rating of 2 out of 10 and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. Seeing this knight on b1 with the idea of knight a3 and knight takes c3 just really screamed the idea of zugzwang for me, because this bishop, it can't move at all. No matter which direction it moves in, the knight will move the other way and give mate. So I thought, okay, it might be something about zugzwang. It also helps that this knight cannot move because white has knight takes c7 mate. Really, the only piece that black can move is this little pawn on c7, and the only thing the pawn is guarding is this other pawn on b6. So I thought, well, let's try attack this b6 pawn and make some sort of threat of checkmate. Rook b7 was my first move. If the pawn moves, then rook takes b6, unfortunately, isn't even checkmate because the king can run. And that's the problem with rook b7. The rook was guarding a whole bunch of the king's escape squares, and now it's not. Rook to a6, I consider for like 1 second, but of course after black takes, then white has nothing. Rook to c6 unfortunately does not work because black can simply play king takes b4, and now even if white gives it a check or something, black can simply run back to b5. So I thought, what if I used a queen to attack b6? Queen e3 was the move I came up with, and once I saw this, I realized that it was the right answer. This move is really multi-purpose. It's threatening queen takes e8 in some cases, it's also attacking b6, and it's keeping all of white's old threats. So again, this knight cannot move away because white has knight takes c7 mate. If pawn c6, queen takes b6 is checkmate, and if pawn c5, then queen takes e8 is checkmate. Wednesday, April 5th, it was composed by U.S. Ebba in the year 1900. Again, if you want to solve this puzzle for yourself, then go ahead and pause the video here. So for me, this puzzle had a difficulty rating of 5 out of 10 and a satisfaction rating of 5 out of 5. So here in this position, again, I saw the theme of zugzwang, just because none of black's pieces can move if you look closely enough. This pawn cannot move because white has queen g5 mate. This pawn cannot move because white has queen f4. Also, black's rook cannot move here or here because rook takes queen takes e1. And the rook cannot move laterally because then white has queen to h3. So black only has one move possible because bishop along this diagonal allows queen to f2. Bishop f2 also allows queen f2. So black only has one move, which is bishop to g3. Now, it looks like black only has one move to play, but it's actually really hard to stop this move. For example, queen f3 trying to threaten some sort of mate fails to f5, and now white no longer has queen to g5 checkmate. I also tried queen c1, and for a second I thought this was right, with the idea that if now bishop to g3, white has queen takes h1, which is not even mate, but whatever. But also another problem is that black can simply run to f2, and after queen takes h1, black has king to g3. So instead, I had to change a track. After bishop to g3, if the bishop's not guarding anything on e1, what else is bad about it on g3? And then that's when the answer hit me. Of course, the bishop on g3 is preventing black's king from escaping. Therefore, what we should do is try to find a check to take advantage of that. And of course, the answer is queen to h6. Now, of course, we don't want to play queen h6 now because black can play king g3 or something, and queen e3 would simply lead to repetition. So instead, what white needs to do is to move this bishop first. For example, if the bishop moves here, now bishop g3, then white has queen h6 checkmate. But of course, bishop f3 isn't necessarily the move that we have to go with. Here, the problem is that black has king to g3. The king has a new escape square, and black wasn't in so well. Again, if the bishop moves somewhere, then black simply runs back. And the bishop to e2 also fails because remember in the beginning, one of the reasons this rook couldn't move was because of queen takes e1. So now black can play rook to h2, and if queen h6, the king happily runs to g3. White again has nothing. Therefore, by process of elimination, the best move for white is bishop to d1. All the previous threats are maintained. This still leads to mate. This still leads to mate. Pawn moves still lead to mate. And the good thing is that after bishop to g3, white has queen h6 checkmate. So those are the puzzles for this half week. I'm going to post the solution to today's puzzle in the weekend update because time issues. But also, I hope you enjoyed these puzzles. They were definitely a bit easier because the themes were kind of more obvious from the start. Also, it could just be that I'm improving a lot. So as always, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. And that'll be all for today. Bye.